from the Solar Academy studios and our industry leaders' homes. We are here tonight for a live event in the popular solar advice group, Late Night Solar. Tonight, we will find out about another well-known solar professional. Let's see what makes our top industry performers who they are. They are about to show us what makes them tick, what makes them laugh, push, win, and fight. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with your host, Jake Hess, and the Solar Academy team.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Thank you for joining us here tonight. We have some special guests, Alex and Brandon Hall. Where are they at, Joe? Joe, are you here? Hey, there's Brandon.
What up, Jake? What's up, guys?
Welcome to the room, my friends.
Hey, everyone.
Solar Joe, why are you hiding from us all? We love seeing you.
I'm going to be in the background today. I'm not hosting. I'm going to do the producing, making sure everything's smooth for the show. So I'll be in the background and bringing questions on the screen so everybody engage, say what's up, and I'll throw the comments in the screen. So I'll be in the background.
Oh my gosh, isn't he the best, everybody? He actually makes these shows run so smooth, and he's very fun. Very thankful for Joe. But I am so happy to have you guys on here. Doing this show was fun. We did it with Joelle for the first time. Did you guys see that one with Joelle?
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, it was fun getting to know people. And I'm excited that we're going to do this more consistently now. And what better way to kick it off than with you two? I love your guys' story, and I think all of us are going to hear it here tonight because we do want to get to know you guys, but we want to know you on a personal level. Before we do, I want everyone on here to know exactly what it is that you two do in the solar industry so that we can get to know you on a personal level throughout the show. Are you guys cool with that?
Absolutely.
So, Brandon, I actually have had the luxury of finding out how you two met. I want everyone to know the origin of how did you guys start in solar? And I know you started separately. So let's start with you, Brandon. How did you get started in solar?
Well, I was in alarms before I got into solar for about 10 years. And I owned a company called Smart Home for a while. And just like everybody else, I decided to make the switch to solar after quite a bit of time of being in the door-to-door space. And that was at 2016. And that was when I met Alex. Yeah, it was a while ago. And I started with Trinity Solar. And Alex is one of the executives over there when I first got started.
At Trinity Solar, that's cool. Alex was an executive when you got started. She already had a big jump start on you, huh?
Yeah, she was ahead of me. She was
and
department.
And you went to work at Trinity, so you got to kind of hook up with the boss. Am I saying that? Is that out of bounds? Does that happen?
We were technically peers, so.
Okay. Alex, how'd you get started in the industry?
So I got started because I actually graduated from college with a degree in marine biology and was looking for a job, which is impossible to find. Everybody out there wants to be a dolphin trainer, so I had a lot of competition. And in college, I'm here. My mission in life is to help the environment. That's what I care about a lot. So in college, I did a lot of grassroots organizing, and I used to knock doors to get people to sign petitions down in Florida to get the state to pass more laws that would allow solar. So I used to knock doors for solar all the time in college for free, just because I believed in the cause. So when I couldn't find a job after school in marine bio, I took a job knocking doors, and I did that for a while and I enjoyed it, but I was thinking about getting back into my career. And that's kind of when I took an internal role and started building departments outside of the field, doing it more in corporate. And then that's where I met Brandon.
That's beautiful. Alex, you look gorgeous tonight, by the way. Look at that hair.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but Brandon, oh, here it is. I need to find you a tighter shirt. I'm jealous. I think it looks good on you.
Thanks. Alex brought it to me last minute, so this might be a medium. We'll try not to rip it.
Yeah. Medium, I would. People are going to see different shapes on me, though. I'm going to have roundness down a little bit below the pecs that you have. But hop up a little bit. What's that shirt? Show us.
It's our Shut the Fluff Up logo.
Whoa, what is
everyone thinks it's I've gotten an acorn. They think it's a muffin. I think it's anything but a sheep with pink duct tape on its mouth, but that's what everyone's surprised. It's a sheep.
Show a little bit lower because those are the legs on the logo, right? There it is. Yep.
So for everybody watching tonight, it is a sheep. we came up with the logo because we were, with all the training and stuff we're doing in the industry with GDD experts and, going to all these conventions and stuff. We were just so frustrated with all the fluffiness that, it's so abundant in a lot of the trainings out there. Everyone's just like, you just got to do your best. You got to want it. You got to go after it. You got to set goals. You got to love your people. And I think they just, leave people with fleeting emotions. But we're more like the calculus teachers of the industry. They're like, these are your KPIs you need to follow, your cost per applicant, your cost per hire. This is how you structure your departments. We get into the nitty gritty stuff. So that's where Shut the Fluff Up originated from.
You cut the fluff out. You get right down to the KPIs, the metrics, and everything that shows us. It's like a GPS navigation, right? It shows us the direction to go without all the fluffy stuff. I'm with you because I've actually spent some time with Brandon and Alex. And these mindset things, Danny Pessy's been hanging out with us a lot too. He gets into these mindset things where he's like breathing exercises. And Brandon, and we're supposed to close our eyes, and Brandon and I are like, it is fluffy stuff, and some people really like it, but we as an industry as a whole, we really do need like the technical aspect of things in order to navigate us properly, right?
Yeah, I feel like Spock from Star Trek sometimes, where I'm just void of emotion and like a walking calculator, but I want to get good at that stuff, just like you.
Alex, behind closed doors, is he Spock from Star Trek or is he a cuddly bear?
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. I hope some of our close friends are in the chat right now and can start making some comments for the screen. But yeah, when Brandon and I are not at work, especially when we're home with our puppy Cody, he is straight up like talking in a puppy voice to our dog for most of the night. It's horrible. Brandon's the total opposite when we're home.
Hey, we're here to learn about you guys. Brandon, I think we need to hear this voice with Cody.
I gotta get in the zone. That's my bear. That's my little bear. My fat bear. My chunky Ruru.
Yes, I love that. Hey, Joe, have we got a picture of Cody?
Yeah, we should have.
Yes, we do. Let me get it up.
Cody, there he is. Tell us about Cody, Alex.
So Cody, she was actually my Christmas present in 2020. I knew Brandon was planning something. I didn't know exactly what, and he shows up a couple days before Christmas with his adorable golden retriever puppy, and she is our whole freaking heart. We work a lot, but literally, like I would say, pretty much every hour we're not out, doing work, working on stuff. We're home with Cody. We're taking Cody on adventures. So she's like our only child right now.
Yeah, she just melts me.
She really does. Oh my gosh, Brandon's the biggest softie for Cody. Cody eats better than like most humans I know. She'll get steak or ground elk meat from a hunt Brandon did or something like super extravagant pretty much every day.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. That's great. Someone says I've witnessed it.
We've had friends say when they die, they want to come back as one of our dogs. And
that's pretty amazing. Well, so I'm just going to do a little excerpt here. So Alex, I had the luxury of sitting in an office with her she was consulting this big company called Lumio. And it was incredible to me. Like you hear these competitions that happen in our industry, right? These big organizations like Legacy or Lumio or Vivint, Sunrun, like they have these big organizations. They do these big competitions for their 4,000, 5,000 sales reps. And I had no clue. I had zero clue what went into a competition like that. And when I sat like a fly on the wall in the room and I watched Alex and Zach Hillstead and some other people just like cranking out, I would try to interject because I feel like I'm knowledgeable. I would try to interject. I don't know if you remember this, Alex, with some ideas. I'm like, well, what about this? And you guys looked at me like I was the most special person. You're like, that's a really good idea, Jake. Like, wow. We're going to go a different direction. Right? And so I learned to shut the fluff up and watch you guys. And what I saw was magical. like how would you describe, because to the novice like me, how would you describe the complexity of these competitions?
Oh man. I mean, I kind of feel like it's anything, because sometimes I hear you speak to Jake and I'm like, he's like 10 layers deeper than I would have ever thought to get on that topic, you know? And I'm like, I know a ton about solar. And then I listen to you, I'm like, dang, you know? Oh, Joshua, thank you so much for that shout out. Glad you're using the performance matrix.
Oh, perfect.
I would say Alex's unique gift is to have football coach vision. Sometimes I can get tunnel vision, like running back vision, where I can perform really well if you just give me the ball, but I'm just watching my lane and I go and try to score a touchdown, but I don't see everything else that's happening. But Alex sees the whole field. She knows what every position is doing from the top down view, knows how all the departments intertwine, and is really good at just making things work and being really effective. And I think just a lot of experience in the industry too helps us understand how to motivate certain behaviors with different quality metrics. And we've been in it for a really long time. And also, fortunately, at an executive level, where we're the ones that do all the trial and error all the time to develop comp plans and departments and stuff. So and they're like living and breathing organisms. So you're constantly making improvements.
And a lot of the competition stuff too comes from watching companies try to launch something and seeing it fail. And because I started off working at large corporations before I switched into consulting and working on smaller businesses in our space, I've seen it at a great scale. So we had so much volume of data that I kind of could see what worked and what didn't. But honestly, it wasn't until I switched out of working at the big companies and like had to really dial in, when I'm consulting smaller businesses, what works and why does it work? Understanding that why made all the difference. So honestly, it's been so much trial and error. And then a lot of it has to do too with like, I didn't just come up through sales and understand it from the front end. I also switched into a sales admin role and came up through this like office staff kind of position into management and then executive leadership. And so that's given me like kind of both sides of the playing field. So it kind of helps me, understand things from both the front end and the back end.
Yeah, that would definitely give you a distinct advantage above many, right? Understanding the sales side and the executive side as well. So Brandon said actually something that I don't think we should skirt past. Brandon, you said it kind of forces behaviors that you want. Building these competitions, we can force behaviors. Mm-hmm. Alex, can you tell us what behaviors you've been asked to kind of roll out and the benefits of doing that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's two big things when you're designing a competition. One of them is behaviors, and one of them is motivators. So everybody has a different thing that motivates them. I played team sports growing up, so I love team versus team competitions. That's where I come up and I show up for my team. But if I'm in a 1v1, I may not be as motivated to perform the same way. And people are on the opposite side of that spectrum. They're kind of all over. So you want to give a good taste of all different types of motivating competitions and incentives throughout the year to pull that out of all of your teammates. And then on the behavior side, you can design a competition to promote volume. You can do it to promote quality. You can roll out a new product or a new loan or something like that for your team and then build an incentive around it. So it's really all of where are you trying to drive your people? Are you trying to drive it towards more volume, better volume, more installs? What is it going to be? And you can build metrics around it.
Yeah, I think you can do a lot of competitions to fix some of the things that you're dealing with in the moment. Like if you're trying to get all of the reps to sell a little bit more because your per rep average is lower, then structure a competition around that. Don't do a single elimination tournament style bracket where everyone gets kicked out after the first round. Like keep it longer, make it team based so that everyone can stay involved, but then make the things that you can earn based on everyone, having a high per rep average on their, on their individual teams. And so you just pick out the things that the company's struggling with, or it could be the price that you're selling at or whatever, and create competitions around that so you can teach them new behaviors and make it fun. So it's not just you coming down on them on a national sales call saying, hey, you guys all need to start doing this or else, turn it into a game so everyone has fun doing it. And then it becomes muscle memory after that.
Yeah, I know. And I wish we could dive into that further and longer because I know how powerful these things are that you guys are saying. Forcing these behaviors, don't do a single elimination, do double, because we're actually pulling more volume out of our sales forces. It's so many companies, so many beginner companies and even advanced companies that you've consulted. They want to learn how to drive more volume. They want to learn how to build these behaviors in their organization, but you can't really instill that in people's minds. So you have to create these external motivating factors like these competitions. And when I say driving volume, can you guys just give a small example of like how much volume is driven off a single competition?
Oftentimes double in some cases, or even more for the big ones that we do towards the end of the year.
What do you like 3 accounts, 5 accounts?
Oh, like when we were at Legacy Power, for example, we would have months where we were typically throwing in, 800, 900 sales, but we would be close to 2,000, when we're having the cup, and everyone's seen it. And, with the madness and, the Vivint, the cup and everything, like everyone performs their best in those situations. And I think one of the things that kind of gets overlooked is a lot of times people think it's just the structure of the competition or the prizes that's going to make everybody get really excited. But it's really mostly about glorifying everybody, like it's staying relevant because the managers are really brought in, and it's at the front of everyone's minds because it's talked about so often in correlation, and the brackets are very visible and the hype is there, and you need to just glorify these guys until you're stopping just short of writing folk songs about them and erecting statues of them in the corporate parking lot.
Hey, yes, statues would be awesome. Well, Brandon, I talked a little bit about Alex. I want to talk a little bit about you. Before we talk about some of your special skill sets in the solar industry, and Alex does have more, I wanted to jump in a little bit and show the audience a little personal side about you. Maybe something that maybe inspired you to be who you are today. And a lot of times for us, that's our heroes, the heroes that we have, right? I love this one. Joe Musical, great cameo. I love that he just pops in and does a little woo. Oh, that's awesome, Joe. Thank you for drinking the water too. Mixing it up always. But you guys have heroes. Joe, back there on backstage, have you got heroes for us? Alex, who's your hero?
My hero is my dad, and it's not, it's not just because he was my first hero, but my dad, he went to school for his MBA while he was working. I'm an only child, so I got to spend a lot of amazing time with him growing up. But honestly, he's taught me everything from the passion I have with the environment to animals to team sports. He's got his MBA. Like, I've learned so much from him. And I still, if I'm having a tough day at work, I am wrestling with an issue that I haven't dealt with before, I still call my dad. And his advice has just matured so well with age as I've dealt with bigger problems, going through school, whatever. He's still been the guy that can, help me sort through just about anything.
That's incredible. That's beautiful. Brandon, I know that you've met her dad, obviously. Did you ask his permission?
I did, yeah, at Topgolf.
Oh.
Yeah. We had a couple drinks. I made sure he was nice and liquored up a little bit, so it was a little bit easier on me. And I kissed his sweaty forehead, and it was a beautiful.
No, you didn't.
He did.
Yeah.
How did he take that?
No, he loved it. It was probably one of the top 5 moments of his life. I'd imagine.
Oh wow! Okay.
He loved. He's Alex is his pride and joy, and yeah, he's just it's great.
And Alex is your pride and joy. I get to spend a lot of time with these guys. They really do love each other. It's something special to see and watch. Thank you guys for doing that and being so great. You're such a great example to the industry, not just with your expertise, but your relationship and the way you guys work together and support each other. I watch you running around these conferences, and if someone's going on stage or something, you guys are you're helping them, and you're running these signs that you've made and making sure that everything looks, well put together and complimenting each other. People see that, and they see you guys working together, and it does mean a lot. It is inspiring. So thank you guys for that. We didn't get a picture of this one. I think it's hard to find pictures of Brandon's hero. I think it's pretty difficult to do that.
Yeah, he's not very popular, but his name is Elon Musk. So I don't know if you guys have heard of him before, but yeah, he's my hero for quite a few reasons. I think, well, obviously the thing that stands out the most is how he's working on all the projects that he does. They're not just to make money. They're to make an impact on the human race and progress us further. And even though I'm not in a position to progress the human race and, start a space travel company, within our space and our bubble, I noticed that really early on that there wasn't really anything out there on recruiting. Like 17 years ago, as I'm trying to scale through the ranks, I'm just like, there's no training videos. There's no icon that I can reference, but we all know the top, some of the top 10 salespeople in solar, and we all know how many accounts they sell, and we all have 10 different door pitches. But when it comes to recruiting, there's no one has like an interview script, or they know how to psychologically position themselves or whatever. And in my opinion, when you get into leadership, I feel like recruiting is just as important as selling, if not even more important than your door pitch, is your ability to grow your teams. And so I think it's so wild that there's not a plethora of content out there. When you look at your stuff, Jake, with the Solar Academy and Mike O'Donnell and Knox Stars, and there's just so much incredible content and all these legends out there. And why aren't there any legends out there in recruiting? So I was just like, no one's doing that, right? No one's doing that. So I was one of the very few people that I think switched from being a sales leader to focusing on recruiting. But I came up through the sales channel. I think everyone that goes up through the sales channel that's really good at recruiting gets stuck in the sales channel because they're making so much money, and it's never a good idea to switch, and try to honing your skills on something different. So I think sales just kind of traps people there because of how much money we earn. But I wanted to make sure that, I didn't get on a Joe Rogan podcast one day and, and someone's asking me, what did I do for work for the first 2 decades of my life? And I'm like, oh, I just made a paycheck, and door to door. I wanted to be able to say that I made an impact on the industry and leveled it up. And I think there's so much that we can do to improve our EQ and our ability to get what we want without, having sales breath and whatnot. And then the last little thing that Elon Musk inspires me with is his public speaking skills. You guys can tell I'm kind of boring and monotone, and I sound like the guy from the Clear Eyes commercial. And Elon Musk is probably one of the most authentic, raw dudes. And, but he's just like, you're on the edge of your seat listening to him talk because everything he says is so important. And I was always nervous when I was getting into a lot of public training. I'd see guys like Hess and Sam Taggart and stuff, and everyone's just like really, flamboyant and, colorful, and, are you guys with me? You with me? Say yeah, say yeah, say yeah. All right, let's go. And that's just so far from my personality. I feel more like a college professor. So I always get nervous about putting people to sleep. But when I listen to Elon Musk talk, it gives me hope that I can deliver good content and, keep everybody on the edge of their seats.
Well, I can really appreciate that you're saying that. That's something I see. There was a post recently on Facebook, and someone said, hey, is there solar training out there, right? And of course, all the trainers, they perk up and they go look and see if their names are on it. And I try to look at it from the perspective of all the other users that are on Facebook and seeing this post. And I have to think, like, how scary is it that if you truly are ready to invest money, like if you're truly ready, how scary is it to be introduced to new names in the industry that are claiming that they're really good at what they do? And then you don't know if they're really good at what they do or if they're just trying to get into it, and I know everyone needs to start somewhere. I know I did, right? But the thing and I've seen so many people that go on these groups like, I can train you. And it's just like, but what have you done though? And what are your credentials, and can you do it conceptually, or have you actually been in businesses and done it, right? And this isn't a plug for you. It's just because you guys are on here. And after spending so much time with you, all those users that are on there that are not familiar with Brandon and Alex, I will attest right now that they're probably some of the more elite trainers in our industry. And I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of them, but when you see their names pop up, they're definitely ones to follow and listen to, because they're not doing it on a micro scale, right? They can't just teach you how to, like, if I was to teach you recruiting, I would say, okay, so when you take someone to lunch, this is the tone that you want. This is the vibe you want to give. You want to have stuff ready to give to them. Brandon's recruiting is more like, okay, so this is how you recruit 900 people all at once. It's like, oh my God, maybe not 900, but 50 people at this event or 40 people doing this. And it's just in the masses. And I saw someone mention on here, we'll go over it later, but yeah, Alex got her MBA. She was an executive. Like, the things that these people do, they've worked with some of the top trainers in the country, built massive programs. For those of you that went to the Solar Academy Mastermind, that was also mentioned on here. Alex did a beautiful presentation that it looks like people are using at my damn conference. I haven't got a compliment yet. You just did on this show. I just want to attest to say, I know it can be scary for people to see names on there maybe you're not familiar with, but these two they're the real deal, right? I'd say them, Danny Pesci, Ben Max, Sam Taggart. There's a lot of names. Brent Attaway is really good at what he does. I know I'm missing some people. I'm gonna shoot myself, or they're gonna shoot me. But I just want to say, oh, Solar Joe too.
He just pops in.
You know, there's so many great trainers, but these guys are the real deal. So, Brandon, tell us a little bit about your recruiting. Like, you're so good at recruiting. Like, and I know that companies bring you in for consultations and they pay you like 50, 60 grand just for like a few hours. Like, why are you so good at it?
Well, recruiting is a lot more mathematical and very the opposite of sales and system oriented. And a lot of times guys in our industry aren't good at that because they, most sales guys are, not very organized. They're emotional creatures and they try to get what they want by persuading the other person to do what they want. And they get these dopamine rushes thousands of times a year from the skill sets they use in sales, but the skills that you use in recruiting are the polar opposite. And a lot of times people think recruiting is just your ability to network and get your friends all excited and get them to come work at the company. But there's so much more to it. Like when I was at Vivint, for example, my main responsibility was to take people from not just, sourcing them, but 2 months into their employment and them getting, 10 plus sales and really sticking, because a recruit's not worth anything unless they get a sale.
Right.
But through their pipeline, which is
worth something, they cost you money until they get sales, right?
They're
worth dollars.
Might as well just punch yourself in the face if you're not going to get sales out of them. It's about how useful all your efforts are. But with recruiting, there's so much that can happen between each stage of the applicant's pipeline, just like a solar sale. You go appointment, sale, site audit, permit, demo, or install. And with an applicant, if people aren't interviewing the same way and they're saying different things, or if you're not onboarding in person, or if you're not psychologically positioning yourself in an interview the right way, and you're sitting there and telling them how much money they're going to make and how awesome they're going to do, and they're exactly what you're looking for, and they should totally give it a shot, and you're trying to talk them into it. In any normal situation, you're gonna sound like you're an MLM. Any normal job.
Someone just said, "I fucking love that comment." That is so true.
Yeah, and most people, they don't realize that it's that kind of stuff. If you talk like that in any normal interview, it would be so bad that normal people would think it was a scam. In a normal interview, they're going to fight to earn your approval, and it's a lot easier to do than people think. I think sometimes people think, solar is hard or door-to-door is hard, and they think that they need to talk people into the job, but you don't. It's just really just choosing the right words in a conversation and having them fight to earn your approval is a lot easier to do than people think. And then also all the things that get people to sales, those are the most important things. There's a lot of cool tricks that we use, like scavenger hunts and mentor programs and new hire surveys to help rip people to their first sale and modify the behavior of all the trainers and the managers that are taking part in their experience. So, when you look at everything and you pull it back, it's it might seem like it's pretty complicated, but when you get it mastered, you can literally have as many reps as you want. There's an unlimited number of people out there. If you ever want more resumes, you can just spend more money. But it's all about how good you can handle them when you get them, because sometimes you don't want to just hire everybody that you can, because if you hire more people than you can handle, you're just gonna have a culture of turnover. So you got to the way that you set your goals and the way that how fast you grow and everything has to be very calculated. But once you master it, it's just you can just print money, and it all just depends on how good your sales leaders are and how well you can get them to adapt to the systems and the processes that you put in place.
Amen to that. Very well put. I love that. Joe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in real quick because you guys are great and everything, but these comments are off the hook. Like, these guys are just jumping in and awesome comments. So keep coming with the comments. Even ask questions. These guys are answering everything. I love these comments. We got Beauty and the Beast. I'm not sure who with that.
Whoa. Joe is not a beast.
Thank you, Jake. Fantastic point.
The big hairy animal.
Go ahead, Jake.
What's that?
Keep it coming in. Go ahead. I'm taking my
wine. Did you just put your pinky finger up while you drank that, Joe?
Is he sipping on some red wine? My money don't jiggle, it folds. I like to see where
Hey, Joe, I was wondering though, because I want to see how these guys blow off some steam. If we got some hobbies that they do to really blow off some steam, I mean the way that only the halls could do it. Can we see some pictures of that? I don't think the industry knows what these guys do to blow off steam, and when you see it, oh my gosh. Brandon, tell us.
That was a big boy. That was just this last year. That was in Montpelier, Idaho. I was hanging out with the Hawks guys, and that guy was a freaking animal. It was just a hair under 500 is what it scored, but I've got like 500 pounds of elk in my freezers in my basement now from that one. We also got some buffalo on that trip, but that was a good day.
Woo! Who is that?
Alex is a sharpshooter. That's her in her 50 cal.
Oh my gosh. I actually, when I went shooting with you guys, Alex was like, yeah, it's your turn. Go ahead. And when she said it's your turn, she was pointing to me to lay down on the ground. I don't do that in the dirt. I don't lay on.
I laid a towel down for you, Jake. Come on.
You did. But then she grabbed this gun and she shot it, and I just watched her body just go back and forth with the gun. I was too afraid. I didn't shoot it. I was a little bitch. I didn't do it. Wait, go back to that other picture. I like that one. What was it? Yes.
Yeah, that was right before my Duck Dynasty tryouts.
Look at the American flags on you two. I like that.
We do it up for 4th of July. I'll tell you that.
You guys have?
How many what?
How many guns do you have?
Maybe like just under 30.
Are all of those your guns?
Not in that picture, but most of the ones in that picture. You were there. That's you on the far right.
That's me right there. I could barely hold that thing up.
You're holding the 50 cal though, Jake. Look at you.
I know. I was posing.
Not bad.
America. Yeah, you guys love to shoot guns. You guys blow off steam doing that, and you're great hosts when you do it. You definitely made me feel comfortable in a world that I'm not comfortable in. But it was really fun shooting those things. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yeah, we had to welcome you to Utah the right way.
When I first met Brandon, and Brandon eased me into it. But yeah, it's such a fun way to blow off steam, and I feel like we're kind of doubling as our training in case there's ever a zombie apocalypse or something. We're covered.
Never know.
Someone out there they get me. They'd be like me. All right, so you guys, I have here. You guys do a lot of shooting, but how do you reward yourselves for all this hard work you're doing? Joe is saying that you guys go on quite a bit of vacations, which is really important as a couple. Does that help you guys as a couple more, or does it help you reset your mind so that you can do all the solar stuff?
Oh, it totally helps. We need to back out of work sometimes so that we can see it again from the big 10,000 foot view versus being so in our businesses all the time. So yeah, these are pictures from us in Mexico, U.S. Virgin Islands. We've got all kinds of stuff on here. But yeah, Brandon and I, we don't do very long trips because it's tough still to pull away from work for too long. But we'll do 5 or 6 days, go somewhere tropical, blow off some steam.
Yeah, I think it's important if you're going to go on a trip, especially if you're a leader in your company and you're always worrying about stuff, is to time it so that you can enjoy being on the trip and turn your phone off. Because I used to have a hard time vacationing. I could literally sometimes be sitting in a hammock, sipping out of a coconut, watching the waves come in, and just be in my head. I'm like, frick, thinking about all the calls I'm missing and freaking out and stuff. But when I learned how to vacation the right way, then you can actually get a solid reset. Don't go on vacation if you're going to be stressed about work the whole time. Go on vacation, turn your phone off. Pick a time that you can get away with that. Christmas vacation is probably one of my favorites because we hardly ever get to take time off. Alex and I are working about 20 hours a day. When Christmas comes around and we get to hang out with our nieces, Jolene and Ava, and my sister Brittany, and my mom and my brother-in-law Mike, we'll go for 2 weeks hard, just with our families and getting fat and not hitting the gym and eating like it's Thanksgiving every day.
Oh yes, look at that one. So these are the nieces you just mentioned, right?
Yep, that's Jolie and Ava torturing me in my sleep.
Yep. And then that's Brandon returning the favor.
Yes. Wow, that's great. You guys are gonna make me cry. Such a beautiful couple. Oh my goodness. All right, so you guys do traveling, and then when do you guys decide to go on a vacation? What's the point where you're you look at each other in the eyes and you're like, it's time that we take a break? When does that happen?
Well, I think it's always time for Alex. So it's whenever she could talk me into taking some time off, but it's usually always around New Year's. I think I feel pretty guilty taking any time off outside of that time. So January, December, November, that's usually when I'm doing any hunting trips or we're, booking someplace tropical. So I just.
Ooh, where's that? That's California.
That was when one of the first pictures. Yep. I was driving up the 5.
Beautiful. Oh, look at that little mini beard. Yes.
This was back in the day, Jake. It really was. Yeah, we try to do, like, there's so much of an ebb and flow to the seasons of our industry, so we just try to move with that. And I do the same, like when we're making a competition calendar for a big company for a year, the last one, in my opinion, always ends right before Thanksgiving, because trying to force people to choose between family time with everyone during the holidays and trying to go and produce the same way they would in June or July is really, really tough, and it helps getting to burn out. So we always try to schedule stuff like that. Yep, that was us skydiving in Hawaii for my birthday. Our birthdays are also in December and January, and that helps a ton.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That is nice because you have that kind of expected time off, huh? Well, let me see, Joe. I wanted let's see what we got here. So I asked people to bring some photos so you guys can get to know them a little bit better. And I believe the Halls, they were brave enough to send us some baby pictures. Joe?
Oh boy.
Why do you guys tell us about? Yes. Brandon, tell us what's going on.
Little nugget. That was me and my mom at a pumpkin patch. I think I was probably a few years old right there, but I don't know what happened. I was kind of a cute kid, and I just got all big and fat, hairy, and ugly after 30 years.
Also, fun fact about Brandon is he is a quarter Filipino and somehow came out looking this blonde from the very beginning.
Oh, someone says cute little nugget. Yeah, that shocked me that you're a quarter Filipino. Your mom, she speaks full Tagalog, right?
Yeah, she was born in Manila in the Philippines, and my grandpa was in the military. And anyway, they ended up moving out of the Philippines when she was really young, and she was living in Britain for a while and had a British accent. And then then she moved to the States, and so she doesn't sound like she's Filipino, but my grandma definitely is 4'11" and is just yelling at me all the time, telling me I need to eat more. You need to eat more food. You're going to break your bones. And it just comes over and just cooks all this adobo and dinigawan and sinigang and all this stuff. And she used to come over during football season because I was so skinny in high school. I was like 6'2", 170 pounds, and she would make these massive 5-pound steaks and just sit in front of me, and she wouldn't let me get up away from the table unless I finished it all. And I just wanted to kill myself. I was so full and just dying. She was dead set on making sure I didn't break any bones in sports.
So now you're like, look at me now.
Yep.
It was all thanks to Grandma Lola. Thanks, Lola.
Grandma Lola. Hey, do we have pictures of Alex?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Look at those purple pants.
Duty.
You like those? I was a very stylish child, as you can tell.
I do like them.
I tried to find the picture of when I first ate my first bite of a chocolate chip cookie, which is apparently the epitome of all my baby photos, but I figured these would suffice. Where
were you living when these pictures were taken?
So these are all in New Jersey. I grew up in Jersey, I was there till I was 24, 25 before we moved out to Utah. So yeah, all this is in Jersey.
Wow.
You look at that snow outfit.
That's rocking. You're right. You got some style. And you wear pink.
Oh yeah. I got patterns. I got neons. I got it all. Blonde curly hair from the get-go.
Well, we see where you've come from, all the way from a baby, all the way to where you are now. Huge transformation, tons of accomplishments. But I know that we can't get to these places without some moments in our lives that truly redefine who we are, that maybe even change the course of our life, right? Can you guys, Joe's going to pull up some pictures here. Would you guys mind explaining what's in these pictures and how it transformed the direction you were going, or maybe the mentalities that you had?
Yeah, so this first picture, this one's a soft one for me, but this is the last picture of my brother, the last picture of him alive. He died about 10 minutes after this picture was taken. But this was the last day I was ever in alarms. I was in the industry for about 11 years, and it was unexpected. He was hit by a car, and I locked myself in my condo for several months and was, just completely devastated. My whole world was turned upside down. He was my best friend. And it was with the amount of time I took away from my sales division and my company, it was one of the first times ever in my career where I didn't have hundreds of people depending on me for stuff. And I was just trying to figure out how I wanted to impact the world. And, I had so much regret about, all the things I wish I could have done for him or for myself, for the industry or my family, and being a better leader when I was younger. And I made a commitment to, live life fullest, and decided it was the time to make the switch to solar. And, a few months later, I'm flying out to New Jersey to, take a job as a senior director at Trinity, running the recruiting department. And sure enough, I see Alex there hobbling down the staircase in her crutches. She had a torn ACL at the time. She had this backpack that was feeding her water, and she was just hobbling away. And I was just like, her. That was, but yeah, it was probably one of the biggest moments of my life. And I went through a really hard second puberty after this moment. But every year since then, every year since I turned 30, right after this, has been the best year of my life by far. And I didn't think I was ever going to be able to be as happy as I was before, but I try to live life, making Josh proud and doing the things that he would have wanted me to do. I don't think he would have wanted me to just, sit around and, just be sad all the time. So,
wow, what a powerful picture, dude. Thank you for sharing that with all of us. That's got to be hard to rehash that. What is something that Josh, maybe taught you that you apply today?
Well, when I was younger, in my early 20s, I always, when I look back on it, I always feel like I could have done more to be a better leader for him and be a better leader for, my mom and my sister and my family. But I was always, pretty talented, and I wasn't very disciplined, and I was one of those sales guys that would go 00005, 00007, and I look back and I think about how much different his life might have been, or my family's life might have been if I would have left it all in the field. And so after he passed, I just have this give everything mentality, give everything, if work and improve yourself with every hour of the day. Alex and I don't have kids yet besides our golden retriever. And if I don't have kids, when's a better time for me to just give everything that I have into everything that I do? People give me, slack all the time for, working 20 hours a day and not taking any breaks. But, I just want to give so much and make so much of a difference. And it was, who I am right now is very different than, before that stuff happened with Josh.
Well, I do think that we're witnessing kind of a special moment here. I mean, it's not very often that someone comes on a social media platform and kind of pours their heart and soul out. So thank you. Very inspiring. Thank you.
Of course.
Have we got a special moment for you on here?
I don't have a picture for one, but I would say a big shift for me happened literally kind of same timing as Brandon's. When he met me and I was hobbling around because I just torn my ACL, that was a big shift for me. I was just about to accept a job taking a director of sales position out in San Francisco to work at a popular software company now. And I was just about to take that. I was ready to move. I was going to get out of solar and get out of New Jersey and move over to California. And I went skiing and I tore my ACL. And I went from being fearless, independent woman to having to really slow down, go through physical therapy, all of that kind of stuff. And it was tough for me. It was way outside of my normal pace that I had been moving at and everything. And it stopped me from taking that job, which is how I actually ended up meeting and starting to date Brandon, because I just thought I was going to, meet him, train him up, and then I was going to get up and leave, but I ended up having to stay. And that's where we started dating.
Wait a minute. I do remember you saying someone assigned you to teach Brandon something. Is that right? Yes. Yeah. Tell us about that.
So one of my weird skill sets at my first job at Trinity was I was good at getting departments started to scale. So we needed a recruiting department. We didn't have one yet. And they asked me to build out some systems that were just good enough so that we could attract a high-level recruiting director. So I built out, how are we interviewing? What are the KPIs we're tracking? Trained up all the managers, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm literally gone for I kid you not, it was probably less than 48 hours for my surgery. And they call me and they're like, hey, we have this guy that you need to onboard and start training. He's our new director of recruiting. I was like, are you guys effing serious? Like, you didn't even consult me. I worked so hard on this. Like, I don't even know this guy. He came from alarms. Like, he doesn't even know what solar is. Like, what are you thinking? So and they were like, just give him a shot, try it out. Like, he's a good dude. You're going to like him. So then we had to spend 12 hours a day together every day while I'm teaching him solar and my processes and integrating his stuff into the company and everything. And that basically replaced the first couple months of dating for us, because we had to see each other, deal with conflict and deal with hard coworkers, and how do people, receive us at work, and do they respect us and think we're professional, and all of that kind of stuff. So it was a unique way to start dating.
But wait a minute, you actually didn't like him in the beginning, right? Like, Brandon, you said the first time you saw her, you were like, oh, that's her. Is that right?
Well, I'm joking around when she's hobbling on her crutches. I would say I knew fairly quickly, but maybe not the moment she was walking around. I didn't really know her quite yet. I just thought she was adorable in her crutches and a little backpack, this like little handicapped girl walking around office. I'm like, this is the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, then we spent 12 hours a day locked in an office together, and the rest is kind of history. And I think everyone's always on their best behavior when they're dating, but getting to see somebody at work and see how capable they are and what they actually do and how much they make and all that stuff, like it's just it's like the rawest version of that person. And so we got to learn a lot about each other really fast. I think faster than we normally would if we went on a date once a week. But yeah, that's us running our first apartment together.
That's your first apartment?
Yeah. That was at that was at Trinity. That was our
talent acquisition. Yeah.
Very cool.
And we just crushed it.
And what year was this?
This was 2017, early on.
When did you decide to grow your beard out? Because right there, you look like beard length of mine. What did you do?
It was right after Alex and I got engaged, or right before we got engaged. After a lot of the stuff that happened with my brother, I feel like I was, I felt like such a knucklehead in my early 20s with, I was, partying with my friends all the time, getting in fights with bouncers. I even did professional MMA just so I could say I was an MMA fighter. Like, I was just a total idiot. So after a little bit, I cut all the hair off my head. I shaved my face. I didn't, because I didn't even want to look in the mirror and see the old spiky haired Brandon. I was like, I am not that same person. I don't want to look and even be reminded of that dumb idiot, who didn't have his priorities straight. And so for about 6 years, I had no hair, no nothing. I had everything shaved off. And then once, me and Alex were about to get engaged, and I was, like at the, I was the happiest I ever was in my life. I decided it was okay to grow my hair back, and I was okay with, having everything back normal.
Alex, do you have two relationships? Do you have one with Brandon and one with his beard? How do you feel about his beard?
It's just a part of him now, I would also say, you forgot to mention the beard straightener. We found this thing that's it's like a hot flat iron, but there's only one side to it, and it lets you straighten your beard. And I got that. Brandon saw it online. I got it for him, I think, for Christmas, our second.
Honestly, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have grown it out, because if I don't straighten my beard or blow dry it now, which is what I normally do, I look like a terrorist. Like, I look like Albert Einstein upside down. My hair is just like, but I blow dry it a couple times in the morning, but it helped me get past that awkward phase.
Have we got a picture of your beard like that?
Highly recommend.
Our wedding photos, Brandon hates it, but in our wedding photos, his beard is nice in, because we're in San Diego.
Well, pretty much every photo that Alex picked out so far that atrocious.
Hey, that's beautiful. You guys got married in San Diego, huh?
We did. Windansea Beach in La Jolla.
Oh my gosh! When I post pictures of my son on stories and stuff, that's where I'm at, is Windansea.
Oh, really?
Wow! Awesome.
Yeah, we had a COVID wedding. We were going to have 300 people at Solitude up in the mountains here in Utah, but because of COVID, we had a little 20-person wedding on the beach, and all 20 people were pretty much our bridesmaids and our groomsmen. We had 4 family members there, but it felt actually there's a lot of people there, because there were so many hundreds of people on the beach that it was funny. But they all watched the wedding, and they're all crying and laughing and cheering for us. All these strangers.
It was so cute. So, yeah. It was so sweet.
Oh my goodness, you guys are a beautiful couple. Beautiful couple.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say that I got engaged to wearing Crocs, though, if you want to throw that picture back up.
Oh, yes, you did.
Wow.
But, I had no idea. That's how you know I was surprised that day, you guys, because I never wore Crocs.
Look at Brandon, his feet are buried in mud.
Oh yeah, that was a funny day.
Yeah, someone said beautiful wedding. I agree. That's a very pretty wedding right there. I want to jump in. It looks like we have some special talents of you guys, but before we jump into that, I think I skipped over here. You guys have an event coming up, or a mastermind, or a webinar, right? What
Yeah,
is
we
it?
do. Alex knows all about that.
Yes, I do know all about that.
Are we allowed to talk about it on this or no?
Yeah, we totally can. So we've got our second round of our recruiting masterclass, which is like a 6-week, super intense recruiting boot camp with Brandon.
But
We've got that.
But the webinar is going to be on the 7 deadly sins of recruiting. And we picked a day. I think that's going to be Wednesday at 10 o'clock next week, and 10 a.m. Mountain Standard.
That's the one that I'm on too, right? That webinar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's it called? The 7 deadly sins of what?
7 deadly sins of recruiting is the topic that we decided to go with.
So this is what not to do in recruiting.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of things that you need to know how to do, but we're going to pick on some of the big no-nos that people do.
Hey Joe, have you got the link for that webinar?
Yep, it is on the bottom of the post. It's right there. The link's ready to click on.
How much is the webinar?
Free 99.
He didn't say $3.99. He said free 99.
Free 99.
Okay, so Joe, you posted the link so they can click on the link, register for the webinar, and then it's next week.
Correct. Yeah, on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Alex, what were you going to say?
I was just talking about an upcoming event. I thought you were mentioning an upcoming event we're having, but yeah, webinar's coming out first. That's going to be next week on the 11th. And then we kick off our second round of a masterclass, which is Brandon's like very intensive boot camp on recruiting, I believe 2 weeks later. So talking about some of the details of that as well.
Oh, yeah, cool.
6-week crash course of me just transferring my brain into everyone else's brain.
Yes.
It's for recruiting. So this course is specifically recruiting.
Yeah, correct.
Recruiting and a little bit of like early stage retention. So we talked too about onboarding processes, new rep experience type of thing. So it's really like recruiting all the way through getting reps ramped up to sell and be self-sufficient.
Yeah, there's
very, very cool. And you said it's a 6-week course or something. It's
intense. Three days a week, about 6 hours of calls a week. We did one and had a ton of success with it the first time around, and we're gonna make a bunch of improvements and do it again and change. Yeah, wow. And the goal is to change the industry. A lot of the trainings and stuff that I do, there's so much content that needs to go out, and sometimes I feel guilty just training for a couple hours here and there, and I try to like get everything that I've got and cram into a manageable amount of time so that I can have a bunch of mini-me's running around the country that are actually really effective. Because sometimes if you just listen to 1 or 2 trainings, you can pick a couple things up here and there, but there's just so much that is there. And I've always had this idea to just like try to get as much as I can to everyone's brain so that there's, I really want to level up and get the recruiting skills in our industry to match our sales skills in the industry. And I feel like right now our sales skills are just so freaking high. Like they're incredible how good people are getting. And our recruiting skills are just, excuse my language, but they're dog poop. I want to try to change that and even things out a little bit.
Well, I mean, it can't be that bad if your dog is eating elk.
Yeah, that's touche.
Oh, I reached for that one. That's a dad joke. All right, so someone just asked how they get on it. How do they get on it? Or I guess
the link is on the bottom of the post. It is nofluffrecruiter.com. Right on the bottom of the post, click on the link. You go right to the 7 deadly sins. You can't miss it. Bottom of the post, click on it right now because we're about to get into some talents you guys don't want to miss, baby.
No,
yeah, if you guys are following us on Instagram, we're gonna be posting all about it over the next couple of weeks. Jake and Joe included, probably. And
ourselves. Oh yeah, how do they find you on Instagram? What are your Instagram handles?
Well, mine's Tall Hall because I'm tall and my last name is Hall, so Tall Hall. Get it? And then Alex is pretty easy too. I am Alexandra Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Oh,
try to keep things simple.
Nice, Joe. So on it.
Oh my gosh. I don't think the solar industry could operate without Solar Joe.
It truly couldn't.
It's like philosophy. It's a philosophy course we should probably build. Can we exist without Solar Joe? So we have some talents from you guys. We have some special and unique talents outside of solar. So we get to learn about you guys even more. And I know our time is winding down. Click where? It's called nofluffrecruiter.com. Did I get that right, Joe?
Yep. And it's the bottom of the post, right on the bottom. You click on the link, we'll take you right to the 7 deadly sins, baby.
Nofluffrecruiter.com. So you guys have some special talents. It looks like we're first starting off with Brandon, and I actually really love this one because I did not expect this. Brandon, hit us. What do we got?
Special talent. Well, my guess, based on your reaction, is I used to game professionally. I'd play World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne, Final Fantasy.
Oh my gosh, I love those ones.
Yeah, a lot of these pictures are from a PvP tournament me and my buddy Joe Never won in Vegas back in 2014. It was the last tournament that we won. But
You won the tournament?
Yep, yeah. And I used to keep it a secret from a lot of my sales teams because I didn't want everyone to give me slack for gaming during my off hours because I don't know anybody in the industry that games, to be honest. I'm sure people have here and there, but not at the level that I did. So I just kind of kept it to myself. It's been a secret for the last 17 years in the industry. But yeah, I grew up just playing games my whole life, and I'm a hardcore introvert. I don't know how I ended up in sales. I think I had a couple buddies that brought me out to lunch and talked me into doing door to door. But I'm a mega introvert. I hate talking to people. I want to just lock myself in my house and game all day. But I'm usually pretty good at what I do, and I'm really committed and really loyal. So whenever I start something, I just get addicted to everything that I commit myself to. And once I started getting so good at sales, here I am almost 18 years later on this talk show. But, never in 100 million years would have thought I would have been in this. So
what are these gang signs I keep seeing you guys throw out?
No, that was our guild sign.
Guild.
I gotta jump in here because this is not just Brandon playing games. This guy was into it. Do you guys even PvP? So you guys might if I show a quick video showing what Brandon did back in the day.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
What's up, Internet? Your tank here is my boy Joe Never, and we're here to help you PvP tadpoles turn into the curb stomping, Neil Armstrong flag dropping beasts you've always wanted to be.
We've been getting a lot of nerds asking us, guys, how do I get my PvP boner rocking?
Oh,
I got a 10-year-old flopper. I can't seem to kill anybody, or at least very often. I stop so much face.
Well, guys, it's pretty simple. First off, there's one question you need to be asking yourself every morning when you look in the mirror, and that's,
do you even PvP, bro? Yeah. Do you PvP, bro? Yeah.
yes.
What do we call a dungeon master?
a dungeon master is typically a soldiery superhero with back acting that hangs out in Cordona, like a little chat log with their political views and passion plays.
Hey, what is PvP?
PvP is player versus player. So for me, when I game, like I'm so competitive.
To explain our cashback match. We match all of the cashback.
I don't play games because they're fun. I play games for the same reason I play sports, and that's just to smoke people and make people cry and make noobs cry. And so I only PvP. If I'm not beating another human being and making them cry, like I'm not going to do it. And it's funny, when my mom used to watch me game, I would get so into it, and I'd get so angry, and I'd be yelling at my screen and throwing the controller and be like, what the frick? And she'd be like, it doesn't look like you're having any fun. Like, you're not even having fun. I'm like, I am having fun, Mom. I'm having fun. Like, I just get so into it. But I'm always all about
and there's more of these, baby. We can do another 20 minutes of these videos.
Awesome. So that one you were about to play is my favorite.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Oh boy. That PG.
You'll typically see them shouting obscenities over early hunt polls.
Or advertising their tight necks, clear parties, and Party Finder.
If this describes you, don't worry. There's still hope, and we're here to help.
Yes, we are. First things first. Grow a pair of balls.
Well, Zen is like training wheels for front lines.
It teaches you things like, don't hit the fucking tank first. When to use your stuns on people. It also shows you why your second coil PvE gear sucks. After you've done enough of those to the point where you don't have to look at your action bar and figure out where your fucking skills are, you're ready for front lines.
This is Brandon's first take
boy.
at No Fluff Training.
You're telling me that these are actually on the internet right now for everyone to see.
Yes, go check it out. From YouTube, baby.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Brandon. I will never look at you the same, but I respect the shit out of you, and I want to play. I want to play with you. Warcraft 3. Let's do it.
All right.
Dead orc, human, or what is it? Or elf?
I'm night elf.
You're night elf?
Yeah, that was what I played in Frozen Throne Warcraft 3. Yep.
All right, Alex. Let's see what you got here. Does Alex make you cry?
She does. One of Alex's talents is smoking boys at everything and being better at all their, being better at them and beating them in their own game. And
Do
I'm one of
you
those.
know any magic tricks?
Hey, who is that? Joe, who's that user?
All we know is Facebook user. I have to do some investigation to find out who it is.
Hey, I do know magic tricks. I'm a bit of a nerd with the magic tricks. I love magic tricks.
You got one for us?
No.
You got material?
I will when I'm on this show. I'll do it.
Night elf for the win. That's right. My dog.
Hey, Joe, show us some of Alex's special talents. There we go. Alex, do you make these still today?
I don't do a ton of jewelry making anymore, but I still have all my supplies and I make them for friends sometimes. I love making like homemade gifts. Like ask Brandon, especially when I was first meeting his nieces, I made them like all these unicorn dream catchers and all kinds of stuff because I like doing, custom gifts like that. And yeah, I got super into jewelry making back in college and have just kind of kept it going because yeah, it's super fun. It's like a good creative way. I get to do stuff with my hands. So that's my creative hobby.
Hey, will you go back to the other one, Joe, the last one? What was it? Right here. So on that, it looks like you poke them through the leaf and it looks like there's a hole there already. Was that hole not a good spot for that one?
Correct. I bet I put it there first and they were like too close. But yeah, I went to school at this little liberal arts hippie college in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we were right on the beach. So I would do my jewelry and then I'd take everything outside and I'd pin it places and do little photo shoots.
So how long would this one take right here? How long would something like that take?
Maybe like 45 minutes or something.
Okay.
It was honestly when I got into scaling it, I was like, oh, I can do this for a living. Let me build out a ton of stuff for jewelry making. And then I was like, oh man, this isn't that fun anymore. So I kept it more as a passion project.
Oh, when it became like you wanted to make money, it wasn't as fun.
Yeah. I used to do like, festivals if they had tables, farmers markets, that kind of stuff.
So it looked like your inspiration was maybe a bit Native American. Is that?
It was a lot of, so honestly, a lot of it is like the complexity of the string work. Like I started doing, embroidery and needlepoint and all of that type of stuff with my grandma when I was super, super young. So she taught me a ton of like ways to sew and crochet and knit and all of these things. And so I was always chasing like more complex kind of ways to do the same type of craft. So that's how I got into dream catchers and things like that.
Beautiful. I love that. And I don't think we're done with your talents yet. Joe, have we got another one? Yes. Alex, tell us.
So
yes.
Yep, this is me playing rugby, you guys. I spent the first 15 years of my sports career doing soccer. And I was going to try out for the team at my school. And instead, one of my girlfriends was like, you should come out and try to play rugby, because she saw me in a co-ed rec game for soccer. And I kept getting yellow carded because I'd slide tackle. And I was just a little aggressive. So she was like, you seem like you would like to tackle people for sport. So come try out for rugby. And I absolutely loved it and was shockingly good at it, because in soccer, I'm big and I'm slow. And in rugby, I was tiny and fast. So I played one of the back positions that gets to score tries and all that good stuff. And I had so much fun. I would dislocate my shoulder, pop it back in, rub some dirt in it and keep going with my game. And I wish I had pictures of the after parties, because that was really the most fun part. But in rugby, you don't ever really hate on the other team. You guys end up being best friends afterwards. And it's customary for the away rugby team to bring a ton of beer And then you guys like party and sing rugby songs and like drink out of cleats and like all kinds of weird rugby stuff after your game. And that was such a fun way to like get to know people at college, was doing that.
Hey, how many people make jewelry, are an executive that has their MBA and plays rugby? How many people do that, do you think?
Possibly just one. I don't really
That's
know.
one. You guys were made for each other. You guys are both tough as hell with some serious style. This is great.
Alex is a freight train. She'd foul out of every game.
Yeah, Brandon's seen me in some like flag football games, volleyball and stuff. I talk a lot of trash.
Hey, I have loved having you guys on this show, and I have loved hosting this. You guys are a beautiful couple. You have huge fans, followings everywhere. This was fun for me. Thank you so much. This has been a special night. I love hearing more about you guys.
Jake and Joe, thanks for having us. It's been awesome.
Of course. Hey. Everyone, go ahead and get that and register. All right. We'll see you later.
I put you high up in the sky and now